short, small coaches, preparing these big men.
Yeah.
It's like, get some big man coaches to fix these guys. But I don't know. It's been an issue every year. Indiana State relies on their guards more, but I think they definitely can use a presence down low 100%.
I think that's the biggest problem. I think that's why they lost it. From what I've watched, that's how they got beat at Ball State.
Yep.
Because they weren't tall enough. They couldn't get the boards.
Yep.
When I watched Louisville, it was the same thing. And I'm looking at the stats right now. I'm looking at Chris Agbow's stats. He's got 14 total rebounds in general.
Wow.
But, and 9 of them are defensively. But this is the thing that I'm really happy to see. His most rebounds that he's gotten all year was last game, even though it was only 6.
Yeah.
But that's still improvement.
And he doesn't play a lot, so the numbers are kind of – you can't really look at the numbers and say because he's only getting like probably less than 10 minutes a game.
Yeah, it is. It says that. It says he's getting like 4 – he had like 4 minutes.
Yeah.
6 minutes is in certain games, so
he's getting boards when he's out there, but that's what I'm saying. I want to see him out there more because he's a big guy. And just having that down low for your
6'8",
team, 275. Yeah. Like having that on the court – that's something the defense has to worry about.
Because usually when people like 6'8", they're like 218, 220.
Almost
the man is 275. That's lineman. That's a lineman size.
Yeah, you look at that man, and you're just like, holy cow.
All right, now speaking of linemen, Indiana State football, man, they ended their season. 5-8 was their overall record. 3-5. Now, what's crazy is they were ranked coming into the year. But
lost to Dayton.
It was, and Dayton isn't a bad team, but still, man, that's. But one thing I've noticed from their game against Missouri State is Dominique Daphne is everything that I've been trying to tell you guys all year.
That's so crazy to me. We sit here and hype this man up, and he finally
touched the ball and does what I've been telling the world that he was going to do.
Yep, and I never would have thought he was doing it from the Wildcat. But he's out here scoring 5 touchdowns in a game.
I can look at somebody, I could look at the way they move, and I can tell if they're a good football player. And when I first got to Indiana State, the first person I noticed in the receiving corps was Dominique Daphne.
Dude,
because he just because of his size.
Yeah, I remember the first game we called on ESPN, by the way, guys listening. I remember we were preparing the night before, and because I was thinking the same thing about Dominique Daphne.
6'3", 230 is like 230-something.
And when I heard you also give like Dominique Daphne credit, I was like, all right, man, I'm glad someone else sees it because, dude, he's boss. So like me and you literally the first time.
It's not even just that he's that big, but he's got not just Division I FCS experience. He played at Iowa too.
Big Ten.
So he knows this stuff. He knows what football is. He knows how to do this.
So it was really cool to see him shine and get him going. So was this his last year? He was a freshman or a senior, right?
Yes.
Okay.
This was his last year here. But like I said, he did a good job. His first touchdown was in the first quarter. It was a 19-yard pass from the running back out of Fort Wayne, Michael Hoppert.
Yep.
They've been running a lot of wildcat and trick plays and stuff. And then Dominique Daphne scored again. That was his first running touchdown. Then he scored again in the second quarter because the one it was another. First off, they went at halftime 21-7. Dante Hendricks scored a 70-yard punt return, which
that was so crazy.
I'm going to give it up for Dante Hendricks because when I first got here, I didn't think he was that good. And it was really because I watched him against Dayton. And I'm a first impression type guy, so if you don't show me you're good the first time I'm watching you.
Against a team like Dayton.
Yeah, so I watched him against Dayton. I think he dropped like 2 or 3 passes, and I was like, he's not legit.
Yep.
I just ended it right there. I was like, he's not legit. But as I watched him later, as it went on in the season, he did good.
If you throw a ball up to Dante Hendricks in one-on-one man coverage, he's catching that.
Yeah, he has no – and another thing I like about him is his speed is pretty good.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I can say I have noticed about him a little bit that has improved as the season really went on was his vision because I remember I would watch him catch punt returns sometimes and he'd do some stupid stuff like run to the side and I'm like, go
Find
north and south. Yep. Go north and south. If you're going to make a move, but hurry up and go north and south. And but he, like I said, he changed it. But he had a 70-yard punt return. Then Dominique Daphne scored again. Like, it was really the Dominique Daphne show.
It was.
He was going crazy, but this man had over 300 yards rushing. And, one thing, like, as far as the whole season, what I like is that they ended off positively.
Yeah.
I got a chance to listen to the interview with Coach Mallory, after the game, and one thing that he mentioned was how much of how much just the win in general meant to him.
Yeah.
So we got to listen to him.
For a season like they had, to end it the way they did was good for that senior class, for that football team. It was a good ending to the season, but you definitely expected more of them.
But it's just
coming into the season, yeah, you wouldn't have imagined all the injuries they would have gotten either.
I just think it's not even about the ending. If you're not ending with a playoff, or you're not ending in a championship, because what they started off, I don't know what they started off last year, but I know they won five games straight
to potentially get into the playoffs.
And then they got snubbed. Yeah, that happened to them last year.
Yep.
So they come in this year ranked
like 15th or something like that.
Ranked, and then lose to they lay an egg against Dayton.
Yeah.
So
almost should have beat Kansas. It literally came down to like 3 plays.
I'm not, and then that's the thing. I'm not even gonna get mad at you guys about Kansas because I'm like, it's Kansas.
Yeah.
It's an FBS school.
Almost.
You still should have beat them.
Right.
But it's Kansas, so I'm not even tripping about that. But Dayton,
the Dayton game,
you shouldn't lose to Dayton. Dayton isn't even a scholarship school.
And we've said that all kinds of times in this podcast, but you don't lose to Dayton, and they did at home opener.
That's a big deal. But if you ask me for my main final season thoughts, they just dropped this year. Forget about what happened, because I think they got their heads so hyped up this year on those 5 wins and that ranking when they came in. That's not.
And the expectations.
Forget about
were
that.
Way up
Forget
here.
about that. Let's look at next year and what you guys got going on then.
Yep.
All right, Clemson head coach Dabo Swinney. He said, "We have to win them all, man. They don't want us in the top 4." I'm gonna just let you guys listen to it. So here it goes.
It's huge. I mean, it's huge from a national standpoint, because obviously if we lose this game, I mean, they're gonna kick us out. They don't want us in there anyway. I mean, we'd drop to 20.
All right, one thing I want to say about this is Dabo Swinney, I know you ain't listening, but if somebody that knows Dabo Swinney is listening, please tell him that this is what I said about this situation. Because this was before they just went out there. They just blew out South Carolina 38-3 last week. This is right before that game. Let me explain something to you. Everybody has to be perfect.
Yep.
Everybody has to win out. You're not the only one. You look at the schedule that they've played, of course you got to win out. Now, if you would have played 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ranked teams, okay, then I understand.
Right.
That's
like
something
the other
different.
Teams that are in the top 4 have.
Yeah, but Clemson, but one thing he did say is,
they haven't played anybody.
And I love that, because he knows.
Yeah.
He knows.
All they have to do is, because they're the reigning national champions. They beat Alabama in the national championship.
All you have to do is win out when you're the reigning national champion.
Just get to
They don't care what your schedule look like.
Yep. Get to the playoff, prove yourself then. And I feel like they will. And this college football playoff, as always, is going to be incredible, and I can't wait for it.
Yeah, man, we were talking about that because me and Baylee just grabbed some burgers before we came here. Shout out to Michael Winstead, because he paid for them.
He's got us.
But we went to grab some burgers, and we were talking about this before we came in here, man. And he was just like, it's so crazy that Alabama is finally not in the top 4. It's finally not in the top 4, but it really isn't that crazy to me because Tua's gone.
Yeah.
They're a young team.
Yeah.
But one thing I can say is Alabama's probably going to be crazy in a few years just because of how much youth they have around them.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, they still are a talented team. They're good, man. But
they're so nasty.
Yeah.
But they just lost some games, and other teams played better on them than them that day, made plays when they needed to, and that's just how college football works.
Yes, sir. Louisville. I know you're happy for this one, man.
This game is going to be incredible.
First off, I just want to shout out Louisville because they're number 1 in the rankings, and I know it feels great.
I know coaches were listening to us, too. He said he likes us.
I know that's great, but listen, man, they get a chance to play the Michigan Wolverines, who went from unranked to ranked number 4. The Wolverines are 7-0. Louisville 7-0.
Yep. And then we got a chance to watch Jordan Nora play right there, 2 feet away from us.
Oh, yeah, he's legit.
Boss. Dude is
he's legit. He can shoot that thing.
22 points a game, 7 boards, shooting over 50%. But then you have a Michigan team coming in here in my opinion, the hottest team in all of college basketball. They went to the Battle for Atlantis tournament in the Bahamas, beat number 6 North Carolina to go to the championship game, and then in the championship game, almost 20-balled number 8 at the time, Gonzaga. So Michigan, like you said, unranked to a top 5 team in the nation is insane. So that matchup in Louisville in the Yum. First off, I know the Yum Center is going to be popping. It's going to be insane.
Yeah, because last time I was in the Yum Center, it was legit, and they weren't playing anybody but
Indiana State.
All they were playing was Indiana State, and they were in there acting crazy still.
Yeah.
Drunk people, screaming and everything.
So they got the number 4 ranked Michigan team. It's the ACC Big Ten showdown like every year. Like I'm saying it 4
I'm
times.
going to tell you guys what makes this a good game, though. Michigan is averaging 82 points a game. Louisville's averaging 81.
Wow.
Michigan is 52% from the field, and then Louisville is 51%. So this is
neck on them.
This is gonna be like this. This is why this is gonna be such a good game. But you look at I'm looking at the predictions right now in ESPN. They got Louisville winning.
Yeah, I would imagine.
They got them like it's like 78%. They got them winning. It's a 78% chance. And they saying they're only gonna win by like 5. But it's just crazy seeing how close the stats are with each other in general.
Yeah.
And, I mean, like if I had to give it to somebody, I'm only going to give it to Louisville only because I know what Norwood can do. And I've seen him in person do exactly what he does on TV. Yep. It's legit. He would stand back 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 feet from the 3,
splash.
Shoot it, and still make it.
And they have that one freshman who he was the guy they had projected going in the draft. I forget his name, like Williams maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So they have him as well. It's definitely going to be an insane game. I'm not sure what time it is, but I don't think I'll be able to catch like all of it because we do have that doubleheader tomorrow. But I'll definitely be watching it and keeping tabs of it for sure.
All right, Jim Harbaugh, man, for the Michigan Wolverines football program is what we're talking about.
Yep.
And one thing about Jim Harbaugh is I don't really like him just because he coached for Michigan.
Right.
If he went back to the NFL, wouldn't have a problem with him. But I want you guys to listen to this bit that we have for his post-game press conference after he lost to Ohio State. So go ahead, form your own opinion,
right,
and then let us know. I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know as soon as we're done. So just please listen to this.
The biggest difference between you and Ohio State at this point?
I mean, I'll answer your questions, not your insults. So
that wasn't an insult. I mean, you give them 118 points in 2 years.
They played really good. They played good.
That's why I'm asking. What's the biggest difference in the gap between you guys?
They played better today.
Okay. I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys. I don't feel like that was an insult. I don't feel like he meant it in the way that he's talking. No. And I know as a coach and as an athlete, that's the last thing you want. You don't want anybody talking to you about the margin between you and this team that you can't beat. I understand that. But this is something you need to understand. These people that do media, they're people too. They have emotions too.
They're literally doing their job.
Yeah, and they have emotions too. So the thing is, you can't take out your anger because you can't beat this team.
Ever. Literally ever. He can't beat them at all. Never has.
It's just, I think the big thing is answer the question because that's what you.
And that was a reasonable question.
It was. I don't feel
and
like
it makes a lot of sense to ask that question. What's the difference? Because you guys have played each other 4 or 5 times and you have yet to beat them. That is one of the
something's got to be the problem.
That's the greatest rivalry in college football. Some people say Ohio State, Michigan,
and they ain't beat them in 4 years.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that he said is they play better than us. They play. All right, so that's the difference between you guys?
Yeah, why are you playing worse?
Why are you playing worse than football than them? You guys are both D1. You guys are both in the Big Ten.
And Michigan has actually kind of been stepping it up at the end of the season. But then they play Ohio State, and they had them at home. You win those home rivalry games. You have to. And he never does. He never beats them. So the reporter, he was not insulting Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah, and I don't feel like he was in the wrong either for asking that question because
not at all.
I've been in press conferences, and that's one question I always ask. What do you think the problem was? What's the difference between you and this team? Yep. Something's got to be the problem. Yep. Something is. Let us know so the world can know.
I'll answer your question, not your insults. It was a question. It wasn't an insult. He was a little mad. And again, only thing I can side with Jim Harbaugh is that's the last thing he wants to be asked. But that's your job. You have to answer to the media. Like, this isn't your first interview.
because I know y'all don't think they want to interview you guys every time because it's been too many press conferences I've been to personally where I didn't feel like asking a question.